And we are live. Hey, everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. I'm Nanny Bubby. This is my home kitchen. And today, Chef Katie Chin is joining us from her home kitchen. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Nanny Bubby.
How's it going today? I know you have been busy, and I think it is so respectable that you have literally done 4 of these broadcasts today. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, 'tis the season. Lunar New Year falls on February 1st, which is next Tuesday, Year of the Tiger. So lots of activity, very exciting. It's the most auspicious of all Chinese holidays because everything you do, everything you eat, everything you say on New Year's Day really dictates how your whole year will unfold. So lots of activity and celebrations right now.
Even though the whole holiday is celebrated for 2 weeks, it's what you say and what you do on New Year's Day that sets the tone for the year to come for you. Is that right?
That's what counts, and what you eat. And there's so many symbolic foods that we eat for the Lunar New Year, including dumplings. The shape of a dumpling, it resembles a gold ingot, an ancient form of Chinese currency, therefore ushering in riches and wealth in the new year. We also eat things like egg rolls. The shape of an egg roll is like a gold bar. So also ushering in prosperity. We also eat like a whole fish because the word for fish is the same word as abundance. So it's a homonym. So we eat a whole fish, but we also eat noodles to symbolize longevity. The longer the noodle, the longer the life. And we also eat noodles on birthdays for the same reason.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I just want to say hello to Sue Rainish and Arlene Blute, who have already started to join us. Frank Solly is here. I thought that it was very interesting because I know now these 2 women just happen to be Jewish, but I just wanted to make a point just because they are here. And I wanted to tell them that when I realized that what used to be called Chinese New Year is now being called Lunar New Year, I, for the first time, connected to, because I always wondered why it came different times of the Gregorian calendar. And I realized that the Chinese calendar, the lunar calendar celebrated by Chinese culture is exactly like the Jewish calendar, which is also a lunar calendar. So the first day of Adar in the Jewish calendar is coincidental to the same first day of the Chinese New Year.
I love that. And as we talked about the other day, my husband is Jewish.
Yes.
Our children Jewish. They had a b'nai mitzvah. My brother married a Jewish woman. My sister married a Jewish man. You know, there's a lot of similarities in our culture.
Yes, and Arlene Blute just said that her granddaughters are Chinese. So, you know, there you go. It's very similar. Everybody shares multicultural, which, speaking of multicultural, as my water is evaporating, but speaking of multicultural, what did I do with your book? Here it is. You have written this book right here, Chef Katie Chin's Global Family Cookbook. And in this book, I want to show it. You are talking about all multicultural recipes. You have Hanukkah in here, you have Easter, the Greek Easter in here, you have Chinese New Year in here, and we are giving away this book to those that entered the contest for the last couple of days over at the end of today's recipe making. So that's very exciting. Tell us about the book, Katie.
Well, this is my 5th book. My 4 books previous to this were Asian cookbooks, which I love. You know, I'm all about demystifying Asian cuisine for the everyday home cook. But I wanted to create a book. It has over 170 globally infused recipes. But I wanted to create a book that really celebrated diversity, multiculturalism, and, you know, inclusion. And I feel that with children, food and cooking is a gateway to learning about other cultures. What a wonderful way to celebrate our differences.
I love that.
So fun to do. We have classic recipes like arroz con pollo in the book, to bouillabaisse, but also some mashups like, you know, Thai style pizza, for example, or miso deviled eggs, or there's a section on roast chicken 4 different ways, Peruvian style, Thai style, Indian style. So I wanted to take some everyday classics and put a little global spin on them.
Love that. I love that. That's why it's so exciting. I can't wait to dive into it and really look more. I want to say hello to Sunny, who is here. Cynthia Berman is here. Arlene, I've already mentioned. Teresa Anderson is here. Susan Mendorf is here. And Frank says hello, everyone. Frank, if Frank's not here, I get worried because he is like usually the first one to sign right on. So today we are making longevity noodles. And how do we start?
Let's get started. All right.
And let's mention that the longevity noodle recipe, it's longevity noodle and chicken, is that the tradition of this is the longer the noodle that you are able to put into your mouth, right? The longer the life you will live. Is that correct?
Right. And also the longer the noodle, the longer the life, but also served uncut. So don't cut those noodles because you want them to be, the strands to be as long as possible. So we're going to start with some chicken, and I have a top-down camera here as well. So I believe that Nanny Bubby, she cut up some boneless, skinless chicken breast just like me. And then to this, we're going to add some cornstarch.
Oh, okay. And is it let me grab the recipe.
Oh yeah, it's just a teaspoon of cornstarch.
A teaspoon of cornstarch. Yeah, yell that out for me. Here's my cornstarch.
Yeah, a teaspoon of cornstarch. And then to this, we're going to add some salt and pepper, half a teaspoon of salt.
And why the cornstarch, Katie?
All right, cornstarch is used in a lot of Chinese recipes. We marinate proteins in cornstarch because what it does is it kind of creates a protective coating around the pieces of meat. So then when it cooks and sears, it doesn't dry out and doesn't overcook. Not only that, the cornstarch draws in any of the other seasonings into the interior of the meat, making it super juicy and super flavorful.
So do I need to toss this cornstarch around
Yeah, let's just go ahead and toss the chicken, salt and pepper and cornstarch with the chicken pieces. See that?
Very nice. Me too.
Coat this, and I'm telling you, if you follow this technique for any stir fry, it's gonna really up your game. It's truly amazing. You'll see. You'll see when we make this. All right, toss this all together, and then what we do is we just cover this and stick it in the fridge for about 10 minutes while we get everything else ready to go. So I'm gonna cover this with some saran wrap.
All right, let me grab that.
And then we're going to place this in the fridge.
All righty, you got it.
Okay.
So my water is evaporating away here.
All right, add some more water, add some more water.
Okay.
Go ahead, and then we'll let your water come back to a boil.
All righty. Well, I think it's enough for half a cup of pea pods.
Okay, all right, should we move on to the pea pods? Yeah. So what we're gonna do next is we're going to blanch some pea pods.
Okay.
I have some pea pods.
Talk to us about blanching.
Okay, so blanching is the process of basically placing certain vegetables in boiling water for about 1 minute. Then we remove those vegetables into an ice bath to kind of shock them. And the reason we do this is so that they remain tender crisp when we cook them, and they retain their gorgeous color. So I use blanching for, it's really like parboiling, pea pods, green beans, carrots, and you don't have to
sometimes, right?
Yeah, you don't have to just follow this technique for Asian recipes, really any type of recipe. You'll see. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have actually blanched green beans for 4 or 5 minutes before you saute them, right? Because otherwise they're going to get tough and chewy.
Yes.
And it's not pretty. So I'm going to take my pea pods, placing them
into the water.
Boiling water for about 1 minute. Now we have an ice bath. So I just have some water here with ice in it. I'm going to place this over here. My top-down camera. I'm going to grab a little strainer.
Yeah.
After 1 minute, we're going to transfer the pea pods into the ice bath. Here's me. All right, this is called a spider. You can get this at an Asian market. And it's wonderful for deep frying as well, to remove your items from your hot oil. All right, it's been about a minute. So I'm just going to remove my pea pods from my boiling water into the ice bath. See that?
Yes. Beautiful. Now, what is your technique for getting them out?
Well, listen, just get in there, but you can also just pour this all into a strainer. That's fine. And then just dump them in.
Okay. All right. And how long do we let them sit in the ice bath?
They can sit in here for a while. It's fine.
Okay.
Nothing's going to happen to them. Let's just set them aside for now. Good job. So fun to cook along with you.
I know. I love having you here. Let me check in with some of the questions. Anybody have any questions right now? All right. I know that technique as velvetin or velvetin, Velvetin. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, velveting.
Velveting.
Velveting the chicken. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, I see. I'm a little late on getting there. So I would really encourage all of you who are watching and listening. Katie is a wonderful teacher and she's really gracious. And I also want to say, you really want to ask a lot of questions because let me just tell you, first of all, she appears on the Today Show. She appears weekly on KTLA. Is it KTLA Weekly, Katie?
Oh, like once a quarter.
Once a quarter. Okay, that's great. And on Tuesday, she is going to be on Kelly and Ryan, February 1st, to be the cook that is cooking for Lunar New Year. So you will be able to say that you saw her here first, and you definitely want to tune in because February 1st starts ratings and you want Katie to look as though and be the highest rated show that they did. Right, guys? So
Thanks for being my publicist, Marla. I also wanted to mention I'm the culinary ambassador for the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation, and I do a monthly cooking segment on Bloom TV. I mean, it's very heartwarming and emotional because I cook along with a host, but they always have a pediatric cancer warrior on set cooking along with a host. Yeah. So I was just telling a friend about this earlier, like you might be having not a great day or whatever, but when you're cooking along with a 6-year-old that has brain cancer, it kind of changes your perspective on life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not going to have a bad day after that. Right?
Exactly.
Live in gratitude for an entire day after that. And Sunny says, well, now we know that that we are going to be velveting all proteins from now on.
Yes, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. You're going to love it.
I can't wait. Okay, so next step.
All right, now let's julienne some carrots. All right.
Do that.
Now, I think you have I have some Melissa's baby carrots here, but they're kind of big baby carrots. You have regular sized carrots. I'm just going to go ahead.
Because I was going to buy the baby carrots today. That is really funny.
That's funny. So, julienne is really just kind of like shredding, right?
Yeah.
Thin strips. So I'm going to take my carrot and I'm just going to cut it in half lengthwise.
Gotcha.
See that? And you might want to cut your carrot in half crosswise.
I got it though.
Okay, see that? And then we're just going to cut nice thin strips.
Okay.
Taking the sharpest part of the knife, protecting my fingertips. Just going to go ahead and shred it like so.
I might need a paring knife, but.
And I just wanted to say, first of all, this recipe is super versatile, so you can use whatever veggies you want.
Right.
Okay. But you could also, to save time, I made a pad thai. I taught a pad thai class earlier today. I just bought shredded carrots for that recipe. So if you want to save time and just buy pre-shredded carrots, who cares? I say whatever you have on hand or you can get to make your life easier, do that. If it's gonna.
Well, let me ask you a question, because this was a big question, because as you know, the supply chain happens to be low right now on oyster sauce, which is in this recipe. So that having been said, what if I hadn't been able to find it, though I did find it, what would you have done if I had turned up and said, hey, I couldn't find oyster sauce today? How would you have adjusted this recipe?
I would just use more soy sauce.
You would use what?
More soy sauce.
More soy sauce. Okay.
Okay. See? So we have
now I use coconut aminos as a replacement to soy sauce. Your feeling on that?
Oh, I think that's a great idea. Another option is tamari. brewed 100% with soybeans and no wheat, whereas soy sauce is brewed mainly with wheat. So there's a lot of options out there if you're on a gluten-free diet.
Good.
There you go, see that? Nice.
So Heather Glossman is here and she says hi. She is home recovering from gallstones.
Hi, Heather.
Hey, Heather, she says, I'm visiting with Chef Katie Chin. We're making longevity noodles and chicken for Lunar New Year. So we're teaching so that we can help everybody have a healthy, happy, and long, abundant life, right?
Absolutely.
There are tons of things that you eat. And you didn't mention the mushrooms. I love that one. Tell us about the mushroom, Kat.
Oh, yes. You can also, I mean, this would be a great recipe to incorporate some shiitake or dried black mushrooms. I like to use, of course, Melissa's dried black mushrooms. You just hydrate those in some hot water, squeeze out the moisture, cut off the stems and chop them up and add them to any dish you'd like. But we eat black mushrooms because they're round and their round shape, again, symbolizes riches and wealth. Okay, so here I have my shredded carrots, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to my pea pods. I'm gonna remove those from my ice bath.
Okay,
and we're gonna cut the pea pods also into nice thin strips.
Really? Okay.
I think it's just, you know, it's really, my mother always taught me that your veggies and proteins should be around the same size because it cooks more evenly, but also it's, you know, very aesthetically pleasing. But
right.
Look, if you don't have time, you're like, I don't have time to cut those pea pods. That's fine. You can throw them into the wok hole.
Yes.
No big deal. It's a very flexible recipe. You can use whatever veggies you like, really. But these are the ones we're using today. Then I'm just gonna, once again, cut these into nice thin strips, nice julienne. See that?
Oh, great. And do you stack them to do it? Because I was doing one at a time.
You know, I grew up in my mother's catering business and she taught us all about efficiencies. So that's why, and I have a catering business of my own. So I always try to save time and do things like this. See?
Okay, I'm with you. I don't mind that.
But you don't have to, no big deal. Up to you.
So say hello to Lisa. Lisa Dell is here. And Arlene said, Year of the Tiger. So tell us about when it's Year of the Tiger or Year of the, I don't know. And how is it determined that it's Year of the Tiger?
Do you know what you're the year of?
Do I know what?
What you're the year of? What your Chinese horoscope sign is?
No, I don't.
All you have to do is Google it.
With my year of my birth?
Yeah, so every 12 years. So I'm year of the snake. So anybody born 12 years before me is also the year of the snake.
And what year were you
born? 12 years before that was year of the snake, and so on and so forth. Okay. So if you are the year of the tiger, it's doubly auspicious because it happens to be the year of the tiger. The year of the tiger is going to bring in lots of bold, risky choices, right? It's a year for action, courage. Last year was the year of the ox, a very pragmatic year, like a sturdy year, you know, just like put your nose to the grindstone, practical, pragmatic. This year is like bold, exciting, a great opportunity to try something new. Maybe quit your job, maybe, I don't know, get married, whatever. It's a great, fun, exciting year. So
each year it lasts for 12 years. Is that what you said? So it's going to
be so basically every 12 years you are that sign. So I'm year of the snake. Okay.
Oh, and so
anybody born 12 years before me was also the year of the snake.
Got you.
Anyone born 12 years before that person was also year of the snake.
Got you. Okay.
So on and so forth.
So just what year were you born? And let me see if I can do 12.
65.
65 minus 12. Seriously? I am exactly that. So
you are also year of the snake.
Yes, I'm 53. So 53 and 12 is 65, right?
You were born in 50. Yes. Okay. Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Just like you.
Yay. I love it. Yeah, love it.
That's one way to get somebody to just say their age. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Says he's the year of the snake too.
Oh my goodness. We're all the year of the snake.
Lisa said she is too. I know that because she was
born.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, and Lisa also looked it up on Google. So my guess is Teresa's also Year of the Snake. Sunny says he is. Anybody else? Anybody else? Wow, awesome. Okay, well, I love, see how great. So who's got questions for Chef Katie? Go ahead and put your questions. I'm monitoring everything as we cook. So what's our next step? Is it the peppers?
Yes, so you're just going to cut up that bell pepper. I, as I mentioned, have done this a few times today. So just cut up your red bell pepper in little strips like this. See? So
like a julienne strip or
consistent. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So it sort of matches the carrots. See how pretty and colorful this is? It's like eating the rainbow.
It is, which is healthy. If you want to be healthy, eat the rainbow.
Isn't that so pretty? I love that. That's what I try to teach everybody as the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation.
Yes, for sure. And eat organic, right?
Yes. Okay. All right. And then
let me ask you a question just about yourself. I just want to know, so your family immigrated here from where?
My parents, would this be a good time for you to share my mother's inspirational story?
Sure. Are you kidding? It's always a good time to share an inspirational story. Go ahead.
I think it's my responsibility and duty to share her story because it's really incredible. So my mother immigrated from Hong Kong to Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1956. I was born and raised in Minnesota. She was a seamstress making just 50 cents an hour. Okay. And she decided to, in Minnesota, of all places, where she didn't speak any English, right? And everyone was Norwegian and Swedish. So they definitely felt like at the time. Yeah. But it's funny because she became friends with the whole Jewish community. I'll get to that in a moment. And then so she decided to throw a luncheon one day for some of her sewing clients in the 1970s. And they were so blown away by her authentic Chinese cuisine because back in the day, they didn't have that. And they encouraged her to start teaching classes and to cater. And one thing led to another, and she became very successful as a caterer. And she caught the eye of a local socialite. And the socialite wanted to open a restaurant with my mom, and she happened to be friends with the owner of the Minnesota Twins. His name was Carl Pohlad. Carl Pohlad was friends with Sean Connery. What? It's a crazy story. Sean Connery came to Minneapolis to visit his friend Robert Redford when Robert Redford was directing the film Ordinary People. My mom catered the party. I was there. I was serving them, like as a teenage girl, serving them dumplings and wontons. I mean, I was serving James Bond, for crying out loud.
I love that.
It's crazy. And then Sean Connery loved my mother's cooking so much, he invested in my mom's first restaurant. Once word got out that Sean Connery was investing in my mom's restaurant, oh my goodness, lines around the block. I mean, it was quite an elegant restaurant. She went on to open more and more restaurants. She had 30 restaurants by the 1980s.
Just in Minneapolis or all over the country?
Just in Minneapolis. And then General Mills, based in Minneapolis, bought my mother's company and made her president of the division. Now, listen, my mother never even went to high school and had been making 50 cents an hour as a seamstress. They planned to take the chain nationally, and they grew it into a chain with over 50 locations. But then
there's more.
But there's more. She bought it back because she felt like, the quality wasn't there. Right. She bought it back and grew it to even a bigger chain, which exists today. It's called Lianchen, still exists. And actually, there is also a location in the Atlanta airport right now. Because then it became like more quick service, like Panda Express.
Yes.
So I grew up working in her little tiny, the tiny basement in Minneapolis, cooking chicken pieces while everybody else was at the mall or ice skating, gritting my teeth. And I decided I would never work in the food business, and I would never stay there. So I left, moved to Boston, went to college, moved to LA, and I worked in the entertainment industry for 14 years in marketing and promotion.
What was your major in college?
It was mass communications and
public relations.
Oh, okay. Where'd you go?
I went to ASU. Did you go to BU? Did you go to Boston?
I went to BU. I did.
Yeah. So Howard Stern went to BU.
Yes.
So Howard Stern and I were in the same year. And I was going to transfer to Boston University, and I didn't. And I always think to myself, had I done that, he would have been in my class and I would have met him.
Oh my goodness. That's funny.
I know.
So
But I do want to, so I just interviewed Nate Berkus at an event here for Jewish Nevada. And
oh,
I interviewed Nate and his mom, Nancy. And it's a funny story that your mother catered Nate Berkus's bar mitzvah, right?
he did. It's the funniest story. I
Yeah.
was at a dinner tasting and Nate walked in, but I didn't even know he was from Minnesota. And my friend introduced me and said, oh, this is Katie Chin. She's on the R&D team. Her mom was a famous chef and restaurateur named Leanne Chin. And then he stood up and said, well, I'm from Minnesota and your mom catered my bar mitzvah. And I'm like, what? And so we became friends. I cooked him a classic Leanne Chin dinner. He is featured in my cookbook in the Hanukkah section. There he is.
There he is. And do you know what? So Rachel Zoe was interviewing Nate and Jeremiah, and Rachel Zoe said, okay, you're going to the electric chair. What is the last meal that you would want, right? And Jeremiah said something like a baked potato or something like that. But did you know that Nate Berkus's favorite food is actually noodle kugel? Like, that's his last meal.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh.
And that was his last meal. So I find that really interesting. I do want to tell you that everybody like suddenly Googled, and Sonny said, well, no, he said, I'm not a snake, but Susan Mendorf is a dragon. Heather is a tiger. Anyway, and Lisa said, oh my gosh, what an amazing, beautiful history of your mother.
Oh, so I love it. Okay. So should we move on?
Let's move.
All right. So did you mince your garlic yet?
I did do that.
Okay. All right. So just have some minced garlic ready to go, you guys. Get your garlic minced. I'm just going to quickly chop mine up over here. So I have some garlic. Okay. Then
Jennifer Tuttle is here. She has not been here for a while because she's been captured by physical therapy. She had a little issue, but she's here today. We are talking to Chef Katie Chin, who just told a beautiful story about her mother's success. And Katie appears on KTLA. She's been on the Today Show. And on Tuesday, you have to watch because you saw her here first. She is going to be on Kelly and Ryan, and she's going to be talking up Chinese, excuse me, is it a bad thing to call it Chinese New Year by accident? Because for years, that's what everybody called it. Lunar New Year.
It's not a bad thing. It's just that people started calling it Lunar New Year because it isn't just celebrated in China. It's celebrated in some other Asian countries, such as Korea, Japan. I think it's just, in Cambodia and Vietnam.
And let me ask you something. If you live in China and if you live in Hong Kong, do you actually, just like when you're Jewish, you look at the Gregorian calendar, but even though our holidays fall in the lunar calendar, right? So everybody says, why is Rosh Hashanah so early this year? Why is Rosh Hashanah so late? Because we do the lunar calendar, but we also attune ourselves to the Gregorian calendar. So in Hong Kong or China, is it only the lunar calendar, or do they run the Gregorian calendar as well?
It's both. You know, because they have to kind of like mesh with Western society. So it is both.
Good. So somebody also said something. Oh, and Heather said she loves Kelly and Ryan. So she's so excited to see you here and then see you on Kelly and Ryan.
I'm excited. All right.
I'm going to sure watch. Okay. So we're heating up the pot. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I also just wanted to say what you need to get ready for the sauce is some soy sauce, 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. We have oyster sauce, sesame oil, and a bit of sugar. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll have to turn around to the sugar, but okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I think it's a, misconception that you need a wok to stir fry. Mm-hmm. And I think people are intimidated to cook Asian cuisine because they don't have a wok or they don't know where it is. But you can totally just use a skillet. I'm just using a skillet. I like to use a large nonstick skillet because it requires less protein, right? And then the stuff doesn't stick as much. I mean, it requires less oil and the stuff doesn't stick as much. All right, so we're gonna get all of our ingredients together. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to stir fry that chicken that we have marinating in the fridge. in some oil with the garlic, let that turn white. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes. We take that out and then we put it back in later. That's a classic technique for Chinese stir fries so that you don't overcook your protein. All right, I'm gonna go get my chicken from the fridge.
Me too. And instead of using canola oil, I am using avocado oil.
Nice.
I find that to be a healthier option.
Any kind of neutral oil works fine. I just wouldn't use like a sesame oil because it doesn't have a high smoking point and it will start to burn, and we don't want that. So let's just go ahead and get our skillet on medium-high heat.
Okay.
And let's add some oil.
Now, unfortunately, I do not have an overhead camera like Chef Katie Chin does, but I am doing exactly what you see on that tight camera that Katie is using. So you're getting the overhead view, which is lovely. Yes, you can just follow along. Okay, let me grab some spatula here.
Hold on, please. Getting that oil nice and hot, getting it shimmery. We want it to be kind of shimmery. And then I'm going to add my garlic and allow that to become fragrant for about 30 seconds. Okay, and the reason we add our aromatics now is to really allow them to release their essential oils, flavor the oil, make it super delicious.
Right.
Okay. And then you want to get it. And you know, the term stir frying is a bit of a misnomer because you're not really stirring, you're like tossing and flipping, right? Yes. Tossing and flipping. You want the heat to be high enough so that the protein sears. But don't be afraid. People are intimidated, but it's super easy. You just gotta, you know, practice, and then you'll feel confident and be able to improvise. All right, now it's nice and hot. Adding the chicken now, guys. And then I'm just gonna break it up. Right. Breaking up the chickens. And like I said, we're gonna stir fry this for a couple of minutes and turn until it turns white. Okay, just like so, until it turns white. Okay. And then, like I said, we're gonna take it out and put it back in. Okay. Now here's another tip. If you don't have time to do this, and you happen to have a rotisserie chicken in your fridge, just shred up that chicken and add it at the end. This is a great way to make use of your leftovers. You can even do it with steak or cooked shrimp. So we don't waste anything in Chinese culture. I think another similarity we have with Jewish culture, right? We don't waste anything.
I learned quite by accident how to get a rotisserie chicken and turn that into chicken cacciatore. I call it really, really quick chicken cacciatore.
I want that recipe.
Oh my God, you love it. It's the easiest thing in the world.
I love it. Okay, so just once again, we want to cook at a high heat, allow that chicken to turn white. Just do this for about another minute or so. And I'm telling you, Nanny Bubby, you'll see it's going to be so tender, the velveting of the chicken. Okay.
Is that why the cornstarch helps to make it tender?
It really does. It makes it tender and juicy. Okay, see that now? My chicken is turned white. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to remove it back to the bowl.
Okay, I'm not quite there yet. I think I did not. I was a
You're
little
fine.
worried about doing high heat, so I didn't quite do it.
Don't worry, you got it.
Okay, so let's give it a minute and let me see if there's any other questions here. Susan Mendorf said, "This is great. I'm learning so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Katie."
Thanks, Susan. See that? Okay. And I just wanted to finish telling you what happened to me. So I was working in the entertainment industry because I never wanted to work in cooking or anything.
Right, right.
And so one day I decided to throw a dinner party when I was working at Fox, and I had completely forgotten how to cook. So I had to keep calling my mom on the phone and asking her questions. And she was so distraught. She got on a plane with frozen lemon chicken, showed up on my doorstep, cooked the entire meal, but she let everyone think I had cooked it because I was that kind of mom. And meanwhile, she opened my fridge and found only champagne and yogurt, was completely mortified. So she set out to teach me how to cook again. And my friends were like, "Oh my gosh, you guys make this look so easy." And I was like, "You know what?" And they were like, "You should do a book with your mom." I'm like, "We should do a book." So I changed my life completely. I quit my job as a senior VP at Fox, and I left my husband all in the same month. And I changed my life, and my mom and I came together, and we had a show on PBS. We got to go to China with the Food Network. We went on the Today Show a bunch of times together, and it was truly just an incredible gift to do this with her. She passed away 12 years ago. So everything I do now is to honor her culinary legacy.
How long ago did you lose her, Katie?
She passed away about 12 years ago, and I wanted to show you my cookbook. My last cookbook before this global cookbook was a Chinese cookbook. This came out in 2016, and this honors my mother's memory. So there's lots of family anecdotes, and see, that's a picture of us from the Today Show right there.
Oh, that's great. I feel like I've seen you. I feel like this is not the first time I'm seeing you.
Well, you seem very familiar to me as well.
Well, I haven't had quite the national TV exposure that you have. So, but let me ask you this. My chicken, slightly browned, is that okay?
Yeah, because we're going to put it back in the pan.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, I've done it.
Yay! Yay! Are you ready?
I am.
Are you ready?
It says great story about your mom. I do have a question about your mom, though. So she bought her restaurants back. There is now one in the Atlanta airport, correct? Who is running those restaurants now?
It's a gentleman. He's a venture capitalist. He owns my mother's chain. He never met my mom. He owns another chain in Los Angeles called Pickup Sticks.
Oh, I know that.
Southwest. I might be in Vegas. He owns another chain in the Southeast, but it's still alive and well. But my mother was not only such an incredible businesswoman and entrepreneur, she was a huge philanthropist. She had a foundation. She served on the boards of the Minnesota Vikings. She threw a fundraising concert with Prince for the local PBS station. And she didn't even know who he was, really. She was just like, Prince. He really is a good, great guitar player. But she was very humble, but quite elegant. She loved fashion because she had been a seamstress.
Right.
So it was just wonderful to see her, later in life enjoy, all the fruits of her labor, because she just loved fashion so much. And
right. And Arlene is asking, what is the name of your mother's restaurant again? I think it was Leanne Chin's, right?
Yes, it's called Leanne Chin Chinese Cuisine.
Leanne Chin
Chinese Cuisine. And people love it's hard to explain.
Did your mother sell out to him before did she sell out before she passed away?
She exited the company, and then it wasn't the best deal for her, but the company that owned it and was running it after she retired, they sold to this new guy.
Oh, okay. So Heidi Strauss just joined us a little bit late, but she's here. And I just wanted to tell Heidi that I have Chef Katie Chin here. Katie is really a national, she's been on the national platform for some time, just told us the story of her beautiful mother who was on the national platform with her on the Today Show. And we are cooking for the Lunar New Year, which starts on Tuesday, February 1. And you will be able to see Chef Katie Chin, because we want those ratings up high, everybody. Tune in on Tuesday with Kelly and Ryan, and you're going to be cooking this exact dish, as am I on Thursday on Channel 8 for Lunar New Year. So Heidi, give Katie Chin a nice applause, and thank you for being here. And
Thanks for joining, Heidi. All right, we're almost ready to finish our dish. It's so exciting. So let's heat up the pan again on medium-high heat. Again, don't be afraid of that heat. Let's add some more oil, not too much. Add some more oil, and let's go ahead and add our red bell pepper.
Okay.
Let's just saute this for about 30 seconds. And obviously you add the ingredients to the pan according to how long it takes for them to cook. So like if I had mushrooms, I'd add those now because they take a little bit longer to cook. Okay, about 30 seconds. And now I'm going to add my carrots.
You don't think it takes longer for carrots to cook than it does bell pepper?
No, you're right. I should have done that at the same time.
Oh, okay.
I just forgot.
Good catch. What did I get wrong?
Good catch. Yeah. All right. Let's do that. I was like, wait a minute, I should have done that. Another option would be you could actually blanch those carrots if you wanted to.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Right? Because we just taught how to blanch. And I love that. And when you blanch, is it always 1 minute?
Yeah, except for green beans take like 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. But these would be 1 minute. All the
Yeah. Okay, let's just do this for another 30 seconds or so. And then, like I said, you can add any veggie you want to these. You could add some edamame even for some great soy protein. If you don't want to do chicken, you could do tofu, obviously, as a meatless Monday option, or even some Beyond Meat or Impossible Burger if you want to go the veggie route. Okay,
And
now
I just want to mention and remind you, I do have bean sprouts. I know you couldn't find them because
oh yes, go
I
ahead.
do have them.
Throw those. I couldn't find bean sprouts today. Go ahead and throw those in. And now after the bean sprouts, add the pea pods.
Okay.
Look how pretty, right?
Oh my God, it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Okay.
And what a beauty you are, and what an inspiration you are, really, to be to tell such a story, and this is what people love. You know, they love if their passion is cooking and they're interested in food, but food tells a story. Food is our history. Food is our culture. You know, I literally will see that people have knockdown, drag out fights because, you know, the way that they were taught their grandmother's noodle kugel is different than my grandmother's noodle kugel. Now, mine is better than yours, kind of thing, but everything comes with a history. And, you know, first we eat with our nose, then we eat with our eyes, then we eat with our mouth. And when your children and grandchildren walk into your home and they smell certain things, you know, that is one of the things, one of the senses that calls memories in more than anything else is that sense of smell.
Right. It's so evocative. And, you know, I think food is storytelling. And for me, I feel like it's my responsibility to, you know, honor her legacy. And also she lives on through me and my daughter. My daughter and I have a live streaming show. She's 13. We do every Sunday called Cooking with Katie and Becca. And although my mother passed away when she was 2, I just feel like she's still with us whenever we're cooking together. So
that's
for me, that's really special. Okay.
So everybody can, first is how we show our love. Yes. Cooking is my love language, right? And Susan says it's obviously hers as well. And I just want to say, anybody who wants to join you on a Sunday, it's Cooking with Katie and Becca. And where do they find you, Katie?
You can just go to my Facebook page or Instagram at 5 o'clock on Sunday. Obviously not this Sunday because we're flying to New York. I'm flying to New York for the show. But usually every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, just go to Chef Katie Chin's Facebook page or Instagram. And then we're going to have you on the show really soon, okay?
Oh, I would love to. Thank you for asking.
Of course. Okay, now I'm going to add my noodles.
I know, but I have to ask you a question. Okay, well, wait a minute. I'll ask the question after we throw in. So now we're throwing in the longevity noodles, right?
So we pre-boiled these noodles.
Yes.
And we just drained and rinsed them. I'm just using spaghetti, guys.
Chicken back in. I missed that. Did you throw the chicken back in?
I did. The chicken and then the noodles.
Okay. Now, how will we be sure that this chicken is cooked?
Well, you know, as long as you cooked it for like 2 or 3 minutes and then it's back in the pan. And basically I sauteed it for another minute or so with the veggies. You should be good. So as long as it turned white in the beginning and then you cooked it for at least another minute, if you feel unsure about it, just continue letting it, you know, saute for a bit. And then we're going to add about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce.
I'm going to cook mine just a little bit longer because I didn't have my pot hot enough when we first started to chat.
Okay, go ahead, do whatever feels right. Then we're adding this oyster sauce we talked about, adding the oyster sauce, adding so much rich flavor and umami to the dish.
Yes, and how much oyster sauce does the recipe call for?
I think it's a teaspoon, and then we're also adding some sesame oil and some sugar for sweetness. Sometimes I use tongs here to get everything combined, okay? See that?
Yes. All right, I think my chicken is feeling better to me now, so I'm a bit behind you, so you're gonna have to maybe call this out for me one more time. So
Take your time, take your time. All right, just tossing to combine, allowing all the flavors to meld together. See that? Oh, it looks good.
grab it. Oh, it looks beautiful. Are you kidding me?
And wasn't that pretty fast and easy?
Yes. Definitely feel like I could do this in 5 minutes on Channel 8 next Thursday.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm putting in the soy sauce. Walk me through this again.
all right, let's put in a quarter cup of soy sauce,
Yep.
about a teaspoon of oyster sauce.
Okay, there we go.
I think it's a half teaspoon of sugar.
Half teaspoon of sugar. Hold on. And where did your mother learn to cook?
Well, this is a really interesting story.
Wait, sugar and then sesame oil. How much sesame oil?
About a teaspoon of sesame oil.
You got that. All
My
right.
mother told me she always had a passion for food and cooking. And when she was a little girl, she would follow around the family chef in Guangzhou, China. Because, you know, in mainland China, there's a lot of servants, right? So my grandmother told my mother to stop doing that because cooking is a job for the hired help. But my mother did it anyway. So she would sneak in there and, you know, just, she's very curious about cooking. But she didn't really learn how to cook. She just observed the chef. And then she was match made to my father when she was 19. Can you imagine, you guys? My grandparents took my mother when she was 19 to Hong Kong to escape the Cultural Revolution. And she was married the same day she met my father. Basically, they sat down for lunch, got married, my grandparents left, and then there she was with her husband.
So he was a good man, I'm assuming, right?
Say that again?
But he was a good man.
Oh, no.
He wasn't.
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
In fact, I mean, I hate to disrespect my father. He passed away many years ago, but in fact, she actually credits my father for her success because she said, had he been like a really nice, supportive husband, she would have been totally content with, you know, being a housewife, raising children, whatever, but she couldn't stand him. So it drove her to be super successful.
And did she stay married to him all those years?
Yeah, she did for us. Like she just, I think it was her generation. She didn't feel like she could leave.
Right.
Which, you know,
And so how many siblings do you have?
I have 3 sisters and a brother.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but none of them went into the food industry. Like, you know, when you're Chinese American, you can either be a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant or a professor. So all of my siblings are those things except for me. So I was the black sheep. I went in a different direction. But so anyway, she had to actually learn how to cook when she was married to my dad. She was forced to. So she was self-taught. But she was a bit of a savant. Like my mother was the kind of person who she could eat anything, any style of cuisine, French, Italian, Mexican, you name it. She'd take a bite and she would know exactly what went into it.
She was just gifted. I mean, she's just gifted, right?
Yeah, she was completely gifted.
So I want to say that Arlene says to you, thank you for the honesty. And Susan Mendorf said, yikes, when you said they married her off and left. And she said, yikes. And Sunny said, it is the same in the Indian culture as well. So I do have a very dear friend who, what do you call it? Who was part of an arranged marriage. He is an MD. A cardiologist. They moved here from India. She actually studied and became a CPA and then an attorney. She's now on the gaming control board here in Las Vegas, but she got very lucky. Her match that was arranged in India was like the love of her life. So it worked out for her, but wow. I know those arranged marriages can be tough, right?
It's a crapshoot. So anyway, I
want to say hi to Bill Utton and I want to wish him well. Hi, Bill. Thank you for being here. Tom and I are sending love. I just want you to know that. So thank you so much for being here to say hello. I just really want you to know that Tom and I have been speaking about you for the last couple of days and we're wishing you well and we love you. just so everybody knows, and send Bill some love. He's in the hospital right now, and it's been really hard on him. So we love you, Bill. Just want you to know that. So that was a nice gift that Bill is here right now. And so anyway, everybody said what a great story. I'm sorry we lost track because I wanted to say hello to Bill. And where were we?
So you guys, my next venture is or adventure. As I've written a one-woman show called Holy Shiitake, A Walk Star is Born. So I'm developing that. I'll be performing it. We're working with a theater in Minneapolis for me to perform it live, but I am reading an excerpt on February 12th on a platform called Expressing Motherhood.
Oh,
So it's me along with like 8 other women sharing stories. So I'm going to be reading a 10-minute excerpt for my one-woman show
lovely.
that evening. It's virtual. So if you guys want to check it out, it's expressingmotherhood.com.
That's great. So I noticed that there's one thing that we didn't put in, which is the white pepper.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you can add that now. A dash of white pepper.
All right, just a dash. Huh? Okay.
Yep. And let's just toss everything together.
You know, I think you did say salt and pepper, but I didn't have my black pepper, and I forgot that you were meaning white pepper. So you
No
did
big
say
deal.
it. I just didn't understand it, honestly.
No big deal.
No
Okay.
big deal. Okay. All
Oh,
right.
I'm going to go ahead and
Should I
clean
play?
up my noodles now. I'm going to place my platter here.
Mhm.
My nice festive platter. Now, red is a very important color during the Lunar New Year.
Do you notice I wore it?
Good luck. Yes, yes, yes. So
I was
everybody,
thinking.
oh, should I tell you some of the traditions for Tuesday?
Yes, please.
All right. In addition to eating these symbolic foods, there's some superstitions that we follow. One is don't sweep because you might sweep out all your good luck. Don't wash your hair because you might wash out all your good luck. You should also not swear or say mean things or think negative thoughts because it'll follow you into the new year.
Oh,
And this is one of my favorite ones. I think you'll agree. Buy new shoes,
oh,
step into new shoes on New Year's Day to start your year off on the right foot. So there you have it. I just gave you an excuse to go buy some shoes.
thank you. And a new purse. I'm wanting a new purse.
Oh, yes, yes, and new purse, of course, essential. All right, I'm gonna just plate this up here.
Okay, I'm gonna just plate it up on one plate for me to eat right now.
All right.
And we're almost ready to give away a book, right?
Yes, yes. Now you can substitute these noodles with rice noodles for a gluten-free version if you want,
Right.
along with using the coconut aminos or liquid
So
aminos.
I'm just using organic spaghetti in my plate
Nice.
here. So. Well. Something, I guess just because the spaghetti's on here and it makes me feel like I want to put some Parmesan cheese on it. But
You do
Right,
you,
right?
you do you. Actually, there's a very famous restaurant here in Beverly Hills called Crustacean, and they're famous for their crab and garlic noodles.
Mm,
And again, my mother, like she was like, I'm going to crack the code on this recipe. So the magical ingredient, because it's a very popular recipe at this restaurant, the magic ingredients are Parmesan cheese. It's a fusion dish and Maggie. That's
I
season.
love.
Yes.
Well, Frank says he needs a new purse too, but we'll ignore that. And then, and Cynthia Berman says, "Hey, Cynthia, my friend always gave me a card with a candy and a $2 bill for New Year. Can you tell me what that represents?"
So we exchange red envelopes for the Lunar New Year. It's called Lycée.
Yeah.
Traditionally
Yes.
given to children filled with money or gold coins or the unmarried. So literally in Hong Kong, like if you're like single in your 20s, you could make like you could make like a couple grand because you were just keep giving you money because you're not married. So the $2 bill thing is though, it's better luck to do two versus one. And like there's a lot of symbolism around numbers. So number 4 is bad luck because another homonym, the number 4 is the same word as the word for death. So when my mother was here, we were gonna move in together because we were doing all this stuff together, and we looked at this apartment complex and the manager was like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you apartment number 4." And she was like, no, she wouldn't let us live there. And then, but then conversely, the number 8 is very lucky because the word for 8 is the same word as luck. So that's why you see 8 all over the place, like in Chinatown.
And the other homonym that you taught me earlier was something is a word for abundance. What was that?
Oh yes, fish.
Fish.
So the word for fish is the same word as abundance in Chinese. So that's why we eat that for Lunar New Year. How is it?
This is delicious.
So easy and fast, right?
Well, it's funny. Sometimes I wonder about like the small ingredients, like just a teaspoon of oyster sauce, or, you know, I wonder, does it really give flavor? Just a teaspoon in all of this? But your feeling is what?
Yes, I mean, it's very rich. So you can always add more if you want to, but it's such a rich flavor. It's quite salty, so you don't want to add too much.
This is so good. The flavors are just amazing. Jennifer Tuttle says that looks so good. So Katie, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm going to reiterate, she did this. This is her 4th time today. So I'm so grateful that you took the time, and I can't even imagine how tired you are standing on your feet doing this 4 times. But we are so appreciative. We have such a beautiful community that comes every day, and 68 of them entered to win this book. So here they are. There's all the names here.
I love it. It's my pleasure, and I was so honored to be asked to do it.
Well, if you would so graciously pick a number between 1 and 65, 1 and 65, and we will see whose name lines up.
Well, based on what I just said, it's going to be number 8.
It's Sunny. Here we go. Sunny. Sunny. I don't know if I can show this. Does it even translate? Well, anyway, trust me, it is Sunny. So Sunny.
Yay, Sunny.
And Sunny is actually new. He just started showing up last week. So welcome and thank you. Oh, he says, oh, wow, wow, wow. He's so excited. So this is great. So Sunny, if you would direct message me, he said, I'm lucky number 8. Yes, you are. And if you would please, Sunny, send me your address where Katie can send the book. She will be happy to do it again. Anybody else who would like to, this is the book. It's called the Katie Chin's Global Family Cookbook. It is all of the things, I mean, just opening up, I saw Hanukkah. I saw, oh, Biggie is choking. I'm sorry, everybody. You okay, Biggie? Eat your veggies. We've got Greek New Year. It's very colorful and beautiful. Look at this. Look how beautiful that chicken is. In fact, I bought a chicken to cook on Sunday, so I am very happy to actually look at this recipe. And it's called Whole Roasted Indian Style Chicken. So Sunny, who just revealed that his family heritage is East Indian, would be very happy to cook this when he gets your cookbook. So
well, I hope you enjoy it, Sunny.
Well, Katie, thank you so much. We're all going to tune in to watch you on Tuesday, and I would love to see you and work with you and Becca on your show as well. And Sunny said, thank you so very much, so very, very much, which is really sweet. So there you go. Katie, you're a doll. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope all of you enjoyed it. Thank you for that overhead camera. And because they couldn't really see mine, but here it is right here. There you go. They watch me eating it though.
Well, that's
thank you, Katie. So, you know, you may not know this, but at the end of every episode, my tagline is, spread love like butter. So on the count of 3, we always say spread love like butter, and everybody says it with me out in Facebook land. And we say it together, and then we sign off. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Spread love like butter.
Yay!
Yay, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy Lunar New Year, everybody. Go get some shoes.
Yes, and a purse. Bye.
Thank you.
Oop.